Welcome back. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Clutch Updates podcast, everyone. We are so back. Ari's back. We're back. We're at our lovely beach house. We're hanging out, having fun. It's been a crazy summer, obviously, for sports. A lot going on. A lot of shuffling, a lot of moving around. And let's get straight into it, Ari. LeBron James, the decision was made. The decision 3.0, 4.0, it's his fourth decision now. LeBron has decided to sign to the Philadelphia 76ers for a 2-year contract worth $8 million. Let's hear it, Ari. Biggest takeaways from the LeBron decision. What are your thoughts from the Cavs' perspective?
Rumors were nowhere near Philadelphia in the final days of the LeBron watch. But thinking about it now, Philadelphia has the best team around him. They have the best chance to win. Miami, if LeBron signed there, would have put a lot of pressure on him. He would be second or third best player, but he would have a huge scoring load because of their lack of depth. And as for the Cavs, he just felt that Philadelphia was the better fit for him. I was surprised, but now Philadelphia is going to be a heavy favorite in the East going into next season.
Do you think heavy favorite? Do you think they're in a better position than New York is? I mean, New York coming off a title, coming off one of the most dominant runs we've seen in the playoffs for a long time. I mean, I think that's the most dominant run we've definitely seen since at least the 17 Warriors. Do you think they stack up to that 17 Warriors team? Like, they haven't played a game together yet. I think people are very much overrating it with this perspective of understanding that in basketball, there's one ball. There's one ball. All those guys need the ball. Even Embiid needs the ball. So just to ask you this, do you think where do they stack up against those all-time great teams just from, the eye test, right? You got 42-year-old, 41-year-old LeBron James. You got Joel Embiid, who doesn't even play. Jaylen Brown needs the ball. Edgecombe needs the ball. Tyrese Maxey can play off ball, but he's their point guard. So where do you think they stack up from the eye test, though?
I think as compared to recent super teams or big threes, big fours, such as the Suns with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, they have depth. They have role players that teams need. They have a scoring punch from Anthony Simons off the bench. They have a rookie in LeBron Filon. They have Dean Wade for defense. They have a lot and that's all they got this season. And last year, they made it to the second round. They beat the Celtics in the first round with that team. Adding LeBron, adding Jaylen Brown, adding all this depth, I think it's a no-brainer that they're going to be good. I agree that the Knicks are going to be up there still, but I think especially in odds, the Sixers are going to be the favorites in the East.
Yeah, the favorites. I mean, my takeaway from the Cleveland perspective here is that I didn't really know if he ever was going to actually come back home to Cleveland. At the end of the day, LeBron James loves the spotlight. A lot of people are comparing this to the Tom Brady to the Buccaneers kind of storyline of going to an already talented team that maybe needed that final push. Because LeBron James will bring that winning culture. That's the reason the Cavs wanted him bringing that winning culture. I talked about this before when the Cavs were in the mix with him. That game 1 versus the Knicks for the Cavs, I don't think they're losing that game if LeBron James is just on the roster, right? Having someone to calm down everyone in the big moments. He's been through it. He's done it 23 years now, going into year 24 for LeBron. And that's what he's going to bring to Philly. He's going to help Maxey tremendously. Jaylen Brown, he's going to let Jaylen Brown shine. I think Brown is going to be the best player on that team. I think this is Brown's moment. I think Jaylen Brown, he's a Finals MVP, right? He's one of the best players in the world, probably, I think, a top 15 player at least. Maybe even some people's eyes better than that. And I think that at the end of the day, he just felt like this was the best basketball fit, as you said, but also it's a chance to do something no one's done. And LeBron James, we've talked about LeBron for years and years, and everyone in the media has talked about LeBron since he was in high school, right? LeBron has always done new things. The 3-1 comeback, right? The scoring record, being top in assists, top in rebounds, playing all 5 positions, all these different things. But no one has ever won 4 different teams, right? And that's something LeBron James can do with this team. Similar to Cleveland, right? Cleveland, the first time around, didn't get over the hump, goes to Miami, team already won a championship, but They were like a 4-5 seed, brings them to 4 straight finals. Goes back to Cleveland, 4 straight finals, wins them a championship, the 3-1 comeback, as we just mentioned. LA, Kobe Bryant retired. They had nothing. They had a bunch of young guys fooling around, having fun in LA. No championship aspirations. Goes to LA, people think, oh, it's just for Hollywood. Year 2, wins the championship. Philly, this fan base, this city has been tormented for years and years and years, right? He has the opportunity to do it again. They've been so close so many times. But with all that being said, they haven't been even past the second round. For this team, this is conference finals. This is finals or bust, right? It's similar to that 24 Cavs team where 25 Cavs team where they had that amazing regular season, but the playoffs is what matters. I don't know how much LeBron is going to play this year. I think that's why it's smart where they signed D Wade, signed LeBron to a small contract. But the expectations for this team is so high. For Philly, for that city, they're going to sell out every game, right? Mm-hmm. It's LeBron's last ride. So I expect great things from LeBron. I expect great things from that team. Unsimilar to you, I did expect Philly to be in the mix still. Philly was my prediction at the beginning. It switched a little bit into all the drama and all the stories we heard. But once I heard that the podcast he was on with Tyrese Halliburton, where he brought up trust the process, brought up being a play-in team, kind of Philly sparked back in my mind. Where if this team is a play-in team, that is a problem. So I'm very excited to see what happens with this team. I think they'll get a lot of national televised games. Then they have 34 or something like that. So it would be a great run. Is there anything that you think is a concern for this team other than health, other than just there being one ball?
Health is the biggest concern for this team with Embiid and Braun. But even without them, they're still a team with Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and Jaylen Brown. 2 guys that will be All-Stars next year, and 3 guys that could possibly. VJ Edgecombe, amazing rookie season. We'll see how his sophomore season goes, either if he has a sophomore slump or if he keeps building off his rookie year. It's going to be a little more difficult without the ball in his hands as much, but he's a really great player. So,
yeah, and again, comparing to the 17 Warriors, maybe they don't have the 4 superstars or 4 all-star caliber players, but honestly, even if they don't have the shooting of that team, I think something they do have is they have 5 caliber players that are going to be all-stars, that have been all-stars. Joel Embiid's an MVP. The one thing that Warriors team never had, bringing that up again, is just the center. Joel Embiid, when he's healthy, is a top 5 center in basketball at least. Some people still will argue the best center in basketball, which, Wemby's there, Jokic is there. But he's still, even Wemby, Jokic, he's still somewhere in that top 5, I think somewhere between 3, 4, 5, because you have Bam Adebayo. I mean, you consider Mobley a center, players like that. So that's something very interesting to keep in mind, Joel Embiid's health. But this team, big expectations. I think they'll do well. I think as of now, I have them as the 2 seed, the 3 seed, somewhere in that range. And if they're not like that, then failure. But we'll see. That's the thing about basketball. We can talk about it as much as we want, but we got to see what it's like in the court. So, kind of swapping into the next thing we're going to discuss today, and that's the Cavs, right? Cleveland misses out on LeBron James, but don't worry, Cavs fans. You got Mario Hezonja, or do you? So, Ari, what are your takeaways from the Hezonja situation? Obviously, he's playing Real Madrid in Europe. There's a rumor, so he signed the Cavs, and then I'll let you talk about what the update is.
So, yeah, he originally signed with the Cavs on the 26th, and then a report comes out, says that Real Madrid was giving him a July 20th out of his contract, and he only signed on the 26th. So now there's some confusion there about whether they're going to try to retain him. Some EuroLeague nonsense that I couldn't really understand, but the signing is not official as of now. If it does become official, I think it'd be an okay signing. We'll see how he does. He wasn't amazing in the NBA, but he's had a good bounce back in the EuroLeague, so he'll come back better. Similar to the Gershon Yabusele thing a few years ago, where he signed with the Sixers after playing great for France in the World Cup in FIBA. But I think he's he's a tall forward. He's what this team could use. But we should definitely be looking for more than just that. Look at some players like we have been with Jonathan Kuminga, DeMar DeRozan, Royce O'Neal, those kinds of guys as well.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I think me and Ari off the camera have talked about this too with LeBron James stuff, feeling like since he waited so long, the Cavs didn't make any moves, right? Trying to save that money. James Harden didn't re-sign because he wanted us to sign LeBron, obviously. But the offseason's not over. There's still a chance. I think that's why the Hazonia signing is a bright spot. Obviously, it's not the greatest basketball player of all time, which LeBron James is. But you still get a forward that can space the floor, shoot the three, play defense. Obviously, something that people might not know is that he has gotten a game-winning block on LeBron James when he played for the Knicks a couple years ago, and then also I think dunked on Giannis or stepped over Giannis. There's some viral clips that I've seen since we signed Hazonia or trying to sign Hazonia. So talented player. I have a lot of expectations for him to be a good guy off the bench. Obviously, we really needed some forward help, especially in that playoff series with the Knicks, just showing the lack of size, rebounding, stuff like that. I want to see what happens with Strus, and I want to see what happens with the rest of the offseason. So kind of leading into that point, you mentioned DeRozan, you mentioned Kuminga. Is there one specific guy that, if the Cavs had one more offseason signing they can do, what would it be? Would it be DeMar? Would it be Kuminga? Would it be something else? Would you want both of those guys? Some like Royce O'Neal you mentioned, I know. Is there anyone else that you have in mind, or one of those three?
If I had to guess, it's going to be one of these three guys, and I think it's going to be Kuminga, and I think that's the best option available. And it's not ideal. I would prefer 2 out of 3 of them just to have an okay offseason, but all this waiting for LeBron has really messed up Kobe Altman's plan with the season, so these are all fallback options. Jonathan Kuminga could be he's another tall player, another guy who can space the floor. He can guard the other team's taller players. He has long wingspan. He's a good player, but, is it really that much does it move the needle that much as opposed to what all these other teams in the East have done?
Yeah, that's a great point there, Ari. And I think Kuminga would be the move. Obviously, I know the Lakers have been in the mix. The Hawks might end up re-signing him. I think it's going to be a sign-and trade, as we've talked about before. But we'll see. There's still time left to make a decision. If you can get DeMar and Kuminga, that'd be great. DeMar obviously be a pay cut. Kuminga, how much money would you want to actually spend on Kuminga, though? I think there's
15 to 18 million
a year. Yeah. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. We'll see what happens with that, leading into offseason trades. So the Kawhi Leonard Raptors trade, right? It was this big trade. They bring Kawhi back to Toronto. A lot of rumors about Kawhi, where he'd end up. Obviously, he's been in the mix for a bunch of years with Toronto. There was the question of why did he not resign after winning the championship. So Kawhi Leonard, the Raptors trade, might not go through. Do you have any updates on that, and what's your opinion on the situation?
It's been pretty stale for the past few days. I haven't heard much about it. They're still investigating, and I think even if the investigation voids Kawhi's contract, I think the Raptors will still sign him. Like, he's not going to get banned from the NBA, so I think he'll still end up on the Raptors, and I think this trade will probably still go through. And it's honestly, I think it's a great trade for both teams. I think Kawhi brings that veteran experience, and he makes the Raptors a contender in the East, a contender in a really tough Eastern Conference this upcoming year. And I think the Clippers finally find some direction for their franchise, get some younger players, start building around Darius Garland, Brandon Ingram, and if they get Benedict Mathurin back, we'll see about that. I think it's a good trade for both teams, though.
Yeah, and Brandon Ingram to me has always been very similar to Tatum. I feel like he's been 25 forever. Ingram's getting up there in years, though, so that's the thing that I want to keep in mind here. What is he? I feel like he's in his 30s by now. Don't remember his age at the top of my head, but he's...
When was he drafted? 2017?
16, 17, something like that. I think it was 16. But he was the second pick to the Lakers, or third pick, something like that.
Yeah.
So Ingram's had some years on his wheels there, and he's getting older. So we'll see what happens with the Clippers. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in basketball. As someone that was a big Garland guy, I don't know if Garland is still a top point guard, top caliber point guard in basketball. We'll see. I really want Garland to prove us all wrong.
I believe there are far worse teams.
I agree. I mean, they're not as bad as the Kings, the Nets, but
Yeah.
Clippers are a bad basketball team, and I'll stay on that. I mean, they can be a play-in team, but they're nowhere near the upper echelon of the West, right? You have the West. I think it's like tiers, right? So you got tier 1, which I think is it's just OKC and San Antonio.
Yep.
Those are the two teams that everyone expect to be battling it out for the conference championship for years and years to come. After that, though, kind of falls off a little bit for me. You look at the Rockets, you look at the Wolves, you look at the Nuggets. They're in that mix. Then you have teams.
You don't think the Lakers are in that mix?
I don't. I think the Lakers have made great moves, but their starting five doesn't scare me. If Austin Reeves is your second best player, that doesn't scare me. Honestly, I think they're going to beat the 7-8 seed. Luka hasn't been healthy. Luka hasn't, because I saw this comparison of like comparing the Lakers now to the Mavs, the Mavs final team that made it a couple years ago, because you're comparing Luka to Luka. Luka's in his prime, but comparing Austin Reeves to Kyrie, Sandro?
Mamukelashvili.
There you go. Comparing him to like PJ Washington, comparing Walker Kessler to Derek Lively or Gafford. Kessler's great. Kessler might be better than those centers.
Yeah.
Don't think that Sandro, however you pronounce his last name, I'm not going to buffer it here in the pod, but I don't think he's anywhere near how PJ Washington was that year. And then Reeves to Kyrie, right? Obviously, Kyrie's coming off the ACL now, but that Kyrie was, oh my gosh, he was kicking ass, taking names. Like, that was an amazing run by Kyrie. It was old school Cleveland Kyrie, 17-16 Kyrie. Like, he was a problem, right? And I don't think Austin Reeves is anywhere near that yet. He was almost an All-Star last year, right? He was close. Maybe he'll be an All-Star this year, but I don't see it. Reeves, obviously the defensive side of the ball was never Kyrie's thing, but Reeves' lack of effort, I think that's similar to Luka on that side of the court. You know, basketball is a two-way game, and I think the Lakers' defense is going to get exposed a lot next year.
Yeah.
You have the rim protection, finally. You have a center you can throw lobs to, but I don't know. I don't see it anywhere for the Lakers team. So we talked a lot about contracts. We're going to kind of move in here to a different sport, Cleveland-wise, and that's the Browns. It's been a pretty quiet offseason for the Browns other than one move, obviously the Myles Garrett trade, where the training camp has gone pretty well for the Browns. I've heard a lot of good reports about Shadur's looking very well. Watson looks healthy. But there was a lot of conversation. Garrett was traded. Would Denzel Ward be next? No, he was not. Just coming in, 2-year, $62 million contract, making him the highest paid defensive back in NFL history for the second time in his career. Any thoughts, any takeaways from that signing? Because we have him back. Obviously, amazing defense last year. One of the better defenses in football. Obviously, the offensive side of the ball was not the same. But have the defense now. You just need the offense to keep stepping up. So what are your thoughts on the re-signing of Ward and not trading him?
Yeah, Denzel Ward is my favorite Browns player, so I'm a little biased here, but he's a Cleveland kid, grew up here, went to Ohio State, and is on the Browns. He loves it here, and he's bought into the culture. And either this shows you that he doesn't care about winning or that he believes this team has something. Because he's getting up there in age too. He's been, how many years do you think he's been in the NFL for?
I want to say we drafted him in 18, something like that, 19.
Yeah, so this is around the point where he's entering his prime, but with his concussions and all of his injuries, he's starting to wear down a bit too.
2018, the fourth pick.
He wants to be here. He wants to be in Cleveland, so it's always great to have a player like that, to have a player who wants to be in a small market, like a Jose Ramirez kind of player, Donovan Mitchell even, with his extension earlier this summer. It's just having players who are bought into the culture is huge for a team.
Yeah, and Ari, I think that makes a lot of sense, right? Like you have Mitchell, you have Jose Ramirez, Myles Garrett was that guy, like superstar in a small market, for especially Cleveland, right? Cleveland is known to be not the most lovable place. Shout out Joakim Noah. It's not that he is not a superstar player. He's a player that makes winning plays, right? He will throw himself out there. He's had a lot of injuries over the years. That's my only concern with spending this much money. We have a really good young defensive core, and I don't want to say that it was the wrong move. Hopefully he can help teach those young guys, right? Especially the corners we have. And if we continue to work together, teach those young guys, that's what matters. In the NFL, the biggest thing that I've noticed watching football, for as long as I've watched football, is experience matters, but also reps matter, right? Being on the field, getting those reps, taking those hits, giving those hits out. And he's had a lot of hits that have happened over the years. So I'm concerned about the injuries and spending that much money, but at the same time, the hope is that he does see something, right? That's why he wanted to be in Cleveland. I think a good thing about Cleveland sports and why I love Cleveland sports is players that actually play here want to stay, right? That's something I've noticed a lot throughout. Like, look at Jose Ramirez, look at Myles Garrett for years and years. Myles Garrett deserves a Super Bowl, and I think he'll get that with the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I mean, Ward, it's 2 years, not 5 years, not 4 years, and especially how he's getting up in age. But the hope is not this year, but next year, the year after that, this team will start building something, right? I want to see what we do with Shedeur Sanders. I think he's going to end up being the starting quarterback. I hope he is. I don't believe in Watson. I don't think anyone does at this point. Sanders, it's a prove-it year for Sanders. Judkins, right? Still young, getting that more experience. That O-line is getting better finally. So protect Sanders, give him another year, give him a full year of starting, and we'll see from there. The defense should be good, though. So, and the schedule is not the worst schedule in the world. So I'm hoping about 5 to 6 wins for the Browns, something in that realm, and we'll see from there. So that's the Denzel Ward situation. Moving on from that, we'll go into NFL training camp. You know, a lot of great things around the league. Kind of a quiet period for football, but everything's going around. The Chiefs, Mahomes, back fully healthy, taking full reps. So we'll see what happens with the Chiefs in that situation. They're in a loaded AFC West. I mean, Chargers. By the way, congratulations to Justin Herbert about just getting married to Madison Beer. Lucky guy. And then you have, obviously, the Broncos coming off the championship, or the AFC West championship division title. And the Raiders, Mendoza, like that's a good young core they have with Bowers, you know, Genty. I think they still need another receiver in there, but a lot to look at for the NFL in the training camp. So preseason's getting underway soon in about a month. Big fantasy football guys. Are there any fantasy football players you're really looking at this year that you think are going to break out, Ari? I got a couple in mind, but I want to see if you have anything.
Breakout players?
Yeah.
I want to hear yours first because I don't really know NFL as well.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, big thing for me, I think Puka should be like a top 3 pick in all your drafts, guys. I love Bijan Robinson again this year. Especially, really looking at that quarterback room with Tua. I don't really even know who's going to be the starter at this point. It could be Penix Jr., but I think it's going to be Tua. I think McCaffrey, with all the injuries, every year he's healthy, he is a top 5 fantasy running back. So definitely still look at that. And my last one is obviously Jefferson and Chase. Those two guys get receptions. Burrow finally has an offensive line. Take advantage of that, right? They made a lot of good signings in the offseason. So those are the two guys I look at the most, would be Jefferson and Chase.
Do you believe in Jefferson with this quarterback room still up in the air with Kyler Murray signing? But even so, he had J.J. McCarthy last year and had his worst fantasy year, I believe. Is Kyler Murray really going to be that much better for him?
Kyler Murray is still an amazing quarterback, right? Like, he won a Heisman in college. People forget how good Kyler Murray is when he's healthy, right? Kyler Murray is one of the most talented quarterbacks in football, even with his size. He is amazing in the pocket. When he gets out of the pocket, he can scramble really well. I want to see if Jefferson can take that next step, right? Like, just back to where he was at LSU, taking over games. similar stuff like that. So we'll see. I think Jefferson, no matter who his quarterback is, when you're that talented of a receiver, look at Randy Moss a bunch of years ago when he played. Like, it does not matter who your quarterback is. It is.
Mattered last year.
I mean, he still had a great year. You're not seeing him as much because he's not playing winning football. He's not getting televised. Not getting televised as much because they're not winning games, right? So we'll see. As I always say, gotta see what happens in the field. But keep Jefferson in mind. He'll still be one of the best receivers in football.
I'd still be cautious of where you take him though.
Yeah.
I took him 6 or 5 last year, and he averaged like 15. So
he's got to stay healthy though.
I think with wide receivers, quarterback matters a whole lot. And if you don't know the quarterback situation, if it's something new, then I'd be cautious with it.
Yeah. I agree. I think he's so talented that I don't believe it'll matter, but you never know, right? So I'm excited for Kyler. I think the Vikings are going to be a lot better than people expect. Be careful about the Vikings this year. The Vikings will be one of those sneaky teams that can maybe get into that 7-6 spot if they win the games that matter. They win those conference games. The Bears, we'll see what happens to the Bears. Obviously, they lost DJ Moore in the offseason. And the Packers, with Micah Parsons not being fully healthy. So, the Lions. The Lions will be fine. I believe in the Lions. Jared Goff, I still don't think is a championship quarterback, but we'll see. Moving on from fantasy football, we'll go into, it's around that time of year for the MLB. It's the trade season. So, Jose Ramirez is back. Guardians are not playing good baseball, though. Guardians are about 2 games over 500, playing some of their worst baseball this season. Are there any players that you really want to see the Guardians trade and make that final push for the year? Because I don't believe in anything right now. The Guardians, the AL is in such a shit show that you look around the league. I mean, the NL has its own thing, right? You got the Brewers, you got the Braves, you got the Dodgers, right? The Phillies are in the mix. But in the AL side, it's really Tampa Bay. The Yankees are kind of there, even though they haven't been healthy. And then Cleveland is just behind. Cleveland is all the way behind, right now at the 6th slot. What is one move the Guardians can make to get themselves back in the conversation for the AL?
No, again, I don't really know baseball as well. I don't know what players are available. I think the Guardians need some power hitting. We have those guys that can get singles like Stephen Kwan, or get on base, Stephen Kwan, Travis Bazzana. We need that guy at the 4 slot who can really hit a home run, which we haven't had since, Josh Naylor, who was inconsistent at bat. So, depends on what players are available. We also need, our relievers have been inconsistent as well. Franco Alaman had a great outing the other game, but there's been some issues with who we're putting in at certain times. With Matt Festa just not playing well. But mostly what we need is offense. We need hitting. We need a score with runners in scoring position. Get hits at timely moments. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, completely agree. A name I just saw was Lane Thomas at the Royals as an option. And the big option for me that I've kind of thought about recently was just bringing Frankie home, Lindor. He's in a lot of rumors. The Mets basically came out and said that there's only 5 players that they would not trade, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone else is in conversation. The trade deadline's in 3-4 days now. So bring Frankie home. That's my pitch. I think he brings that hitting that we need, right? Slot him right back in second base. Play Benzano on the other side of him. I think that's a great core. You have Jose fully healthy now. The hitting's been great all year, DeLauder. It's been very inconsistent with the pitching. When the pitching is on, it is some of the best pitching in baseball, but it has just been so inconsistent this year. And I still don't think that we have an ace. We don't have that guy. We don't have a Skubal, right? We don't have a Garrett Cole. So I'm very interested to see what we do in the trade deadline. Hopefully it's Lindor. He brings that hitting back. As I said, like the Mets, he's not one of the names. So we'll see. More hitting, more power hitting. But we've been saying this for years and years, that we need more hitting. And we never get it. Hopefully this is the year we look at the AL, similar to the Eastern Conference last year, similar to the AFC as well, right? You take advantage when teams are not playing as well. In sports, it's all about the moments. The simple moments are what matter most. So, if you're the Guardians, go get those hitters. Spend money. Fans have been complaining about this for years and years and years. We don't spend money. We don't spend enough money. So, take away from this year, the AL is only getting better. Teams are only getting younger. So, take advantage.
And as for pitching, saying we don't have an ace, he's a rookie, but Parker Messick is that guy. He's not there just yet, but he's gonna be there, and he's gonna be really, really good. He was already an All-Star this year. Was he an All-Star?
He was an All-Star. We had 2 rookie All-Stars.
He's gonna be great. Travis Bazzana, another rookie, gonna be great. We got a lot of young players. We just gotta win more baseball games. It's as simple as that. And I do want to give props to Cade Smith as well. Came in this year, first year full-time as our closer. And it was a little nerve-wracking at the start he had some blown saves. He had some mess-ups some almost blown saves. But he has 30 saves right now, which I believe is the most in the MLB. So props to him. He's really taking advantage at the moment and has been playing great.
Yeah, and I really want to see where Scuba ends up. That Tigers have been so ridiculously bad this year. No one expected that. Even with the Guardians, obviously, it's weird to say that the White Sox are in first place.
Yeah.
You look 2 years ago, they were one of the worst baseball teams of all time. That's the thing about baseball. It can flip like that. So we'll see what happens these next couple of months as we get into the back half of the season. So I'm excited for the Guardians. I think Jose being healthy really helps this team. Hopefully the hitting gets back up. Parker Messick, as you said. Hopefully some of those other guys. The Yankees have not been healthy. Take advantage of that. Tampa Bay, who we just played recently, just destroyed us. So we'll see what happens with the Guardians. I hope we make a playoff spot. You cannot lose the division to the White Sox. I mean, that would be ridiculous. We're right there. We've been right there for about a month. So that's very interesting to see. So MLB, it's a very dry period for sports right now. You have I don't even know what this is. It's called the basketball tournament. It's just a bunch of retired players from college teams. So that's the tournament that's on. You have the Big 3 League, which is back. Obviously the World Cup just ended. But dry period for sports. We'll keep you guys updated with everything. And yeah, we appreciate you guys for watching as always. We'll keep you updated with what's going on in our lives and what's going on in sports. Okay, catch you later. Peace.